Hi, this is a screencast for Scientific Method and Transport Lab. I am here on the modules page because this is where you start every day, right? So we're week 5 now. It's the scientific method and cell transport for the lab this week. If you click here, all the information you need to know is here. There are 2 activities where you have to submit something. Those can be found here and here, but they're also linked to on this page. So if you click on this page here, you get this, and it's just a general explanation of the lab. These are your learning objectives, which can also be found in the lab guide here where it says Scientific Method Explanation. And then down here, it's not an active link yet, but that will contain a brief screencast where I explain the scientific method, the difference between a hypothesis and a theory, and just give you an example of the scientific method in action using these PowerPoints here. So you want to watch that screencast, understand the scientific method, then you are going to perform this osmosis experiment and submit a lab report. So when you click on this, you will get to this page. This is a YouTube video of a very similar experiment if you want to watch that first. When you open the lab report, this is the document which you will be filling out and then submitting on this page. And it is set up to submit text, website, file, upload. Let's see, so the lab report looks like this. You have a list of supplies, and hopefully easy to follow instructions. It is relatively straightforward. You're going to set up your potatoes, take a picture of them before they go in their different salt and water solutions, and then fill out this table. Then leave them for an hour or two. 2 might be a little bit better, but if you don't want to wait all the way till 2, that's probably okay. Take another picture where they're all lined up so you can see which ones are shorter and which ones are longer. And then answer the questions down here, fill out the table, and then this is what you're going to submit on this page as your lab report. Then you have a third thing to do, which is this Physio EX experiment here. And this you do need to pay careful attention to. It's not hard, but it's easy to screw up if you don't follow the directions. So I'm going to open it in a new tab just so that you can see what it looks like. It is going to take you to mastering, or to a Physio EX experiment within Mastering Anatomy and Physiology, but you stay in the Canvas window, and I'm hoping it loads. I'm going to pause and wait till it loads. All right, there we go. It has loaded. So what you're going to be doing is 4 different simulated experiments: simple diffusion, facilitated diffusion, osmotic pressure, and active transport. The way to do it, and here's where things are a little tricky, they have the pre-lab quiz listed before the post-lab quiz. So you are going to want to click on the pre-lab quiz, and it should open another window. Everything is going slow. Oh no, that's right. Same window. This is your pre-lab quiz. Oh look, I already took it. I didn't think it would keep that there. What you want to do is click on the activity here. This opens in another window. And then read what they have. You can make it big. And it's 2 or 3 pages of reading. You don't have to answer these questions, but you can if you want to. And then when you're done with the questions, you can submit your questions to the lab report. You do not need the lab report, but you can do it anyways. Then it takes you to the experiment. After this, you are going to want to go back to the homework page and answer all of the questions. When you're done with the questions and you hit next, and by the way, you get more than 1 attempt for each question, so everybody should be getting 100% on this. Whoops, there you go. You hit next, it will take you to the post-lab quiz. But before you take the post-lab quiz, you actually want to perform the experiment, because I will ask you questions based on the experiment. So then you go back to the experiment window, and it's tedious, but it's doable. So you just have to follow the directions carefully. So it says drag the 20 molecular weight cutoff membrane to the membrane holder between the beakers. That's this thing here. So you grab this and you put it in there, and then you hit next. And it says increase the sodium chloride concentration to be dispensed to the left beaker to 9 millimolar by selecting the plus button. So we go here and you click that 9 times, then dispense, and it fills up, and then you hit next. And it tells you, look, you've got a 9 millimolar solution of sodium chloride in this beaker. Then we're going to select deionized water for this beaker and dispense. So you've got no ions in it or no solutes at all, just distilled or deionized water in this beaker. Then you hit next, and you read all this, blah, blah, blah. It tells you what's going to happen. You hit start. That barrier separating the two jars, or the two halves of your chamber, goes down. The timer goes down in less than a minute to get your 60 seconds. And then it tells you no diffusion has happened, because if you look here, this is still 9, this is still 0, so no sodium or chlorine went from here to there. So you start the run, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to let you read all that. Then you hit next, and then it tells you to record the data, which you can do, but you are not going to need your lab report. You might want to have your lab report so you can study it so that you know what happened in each instance. I'm not necessarily going to ask you what happened, but based on what happened, I might ask you questions about why something crossed the membrane or why it didn't. So you do that. Sorry, record data. Next. Then it asks you this question about sodium chloride. Why didn't it diffuse? I'm going to say the pore was too small. I'm going to be right. I can submit my question, so it'll be in the lab report. And then you flush. And you hit next. And then they ask you another question. And then you start over. So you're basically looking at diffusion of these different molecules through membranes with different size pores or molecular weight cutoffs, 20 up to 200. So that would be grams, so a molecular weight of 20 grams up to a molecular weight of 200 grams. So you follow all the directions, you answer all the questions, you hit submit data, so it goes into your lab report. And then when you're done with this, you go and take your post-lab quiz, and then it should, when you're done with your post-lab quiz, you hit next, and now it's the pre-lab quiz for facilitated diffusion. So you're going to do the same thing, open the experiment. Did it open? Yeah, I think it's already open in the other window. Where is the other window? No, why is it not open? Hold on. Well, that's weird. It should open for you. I'm not sure why it's not opening. It might be that next assignment problem. Well, if you open it in a new tab, it takes you here, and then you can still do it. And now if you click on it, it actually opens. So I don't know if you all saw what happened. I was here and trying to get this to open, and it wouldn't open in this screen. So I did the left click, open in a new tab, and it went to the new tab. Now I'm actually in mastering, not within Canvas, but you can still click here, get the experiment, or read up on facilitated diffusion, answer any questions that are embedded in here, and then come back here do the pre-lab quiz. When you're done with the pre-lab quiz, hit next, then do the experiment, then the post-lab quiz, and then go on to the next thing. So you're going to do 4 different activities. Hopefully it won't take that long. Your grade for this is the pre and post lab quizzes. So don't just speed through those to get them done, because that's what gets submitted. PhysioEX does not give you a lab report that you could then submit for me, and I don't want you having to take screenshots and doing all this other crazy stuff. So the easiest way for you to get a grade for doing this is for me to just have PhysioEX report to the grade book your pre and post lab quiz scores. So do those carefully, because that is your grade for this part of the lab. And I think it's 4 times 2, 8. Well, no, 4 apiece times 4. It's 16 points, because each pre or post lab quiz is worth 2 points. And there are 8 of them total, 4 pre-lab, 4 post-lab, for a total of 16 points. So make sure you do those carefully. And then you'll be done. So you just learn this, you do the osmosis experiment, and you do the PhysioEX. There's nothing for you to submit for the PhysioEX. It all goes automatically into the grade book. But for the osmosis experiment, you do submit that lab report, and you are taking photos and embedding them in the lab report, which I think everybody's gotten pretty good at. So it should be straightforward. Thank you for listening to all of this. Good luck. Let me know if you have questions.